Let's see. Norm, New Jersey. You're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Hello. Isn't it Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, the General Welfare Clause, that allows welfare to be constitutional?
No.
Why not?
First of all, calling it welfare, define welfare for me.
Well, if you have, let's say, welfare or Social Security, if the people decide that too many poor people makes a general welfare for the country that's inhospitable to people having families or businesses or jobs, then the people may decide that that's, the general welfare is impacted by not having a social safety net of some measure.
There's only one problem with that. The concept of the general welfare is defined by the 18 enumerated powers.
And it's actually quite vague.
No, it's not quite. Sir, it's not. Stop. Hold on. It's not quite vague. The Constitution is perfectly. So what you're saying is if federal agents burst into your house and started looking through your stuff without a warrant, they could just say, well, that's kind of vague.
I don't understand that at all.
The Fourth Amendment, the right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure, the right to have a warrant sworn out with your name on it is a right you have.
Wait, you're switching what we're talking about.
No, you're saying the Constitution is not clear and it's vague. So what I'm posing to you is an overreach where someone else might say, well, that's just vague. I mean, the government doesn't really need a warrant to go into your house.
Okay, but is it not true that there's a Madisonian and a Hamiltonian view of the General Welfare Clause?
Yeah, and Hamilton lost that one. And Hamilton lost that in the Federalist Papers.
Okay, well, I don't think that's true, but also...
It is true.
But how was Social Security ruled to be constitutional?
It's not constitutional. Social Security is not constitutional.
Well, then why don't you go win the argument?
I am winning the argument. The fact that I'm not willing to do something violent to make my point doesn't mean I lost the argument. You can't find Social Security in the Constitution. Thus, it's unconstitutional.
But it's been ruled constitutional.
Well, okay, let me stop you right there.
His legal foundation and go raise a case against it.
Do me a favor, Norm. You're a very smart liberal, and I'm a very dumb conservative. Tell me where in Article 3 the Supreme Court has the power to interpret the Constitution to say that Social Security is now legal.
The case went before the court.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, so did...
It was ruled on.
So, Norm, stop talking. One point at a time. So if the Supreme Court says something is constitutional, then thus it is.
Until something else... They rule on constitutionally.
So internment was constitutional.
What are you talking about?
Internment. The Supreme Court held up internment. Does that mean the interning of American citizens is... Stop talking until you're too dumb to have this conversation. Have a nice day. This is the problem that frustrates me. I'm trying to have a rational civil discussion, and liberals can't shut the blank up when it's not their turn to talk anymore. Andrew, you getting angry? I'm not angry. I get annoyed. I'm a human being. They'll say, well, the Supreme Court says that that's legal. Oh, okay. So when the Supreme Court says it's legal, you don't question whether or not they have the authority to even rule in the case in Article 3 anymore. You just say, hands up, it's legal. So internment's legal. Segregation is legal. Slavery is legal because the Supreme Court once held those things up. The Supreme Court also acts outside of its enumerated authority, which is codified by Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. No, the Supreme Court is not the final arbiter of the Constitution. Find that in there. Again, we're dealing with people who don't know. They just don't know. But they think they do. And they think they're smart. And they just keep babbling like children when you try to, hold on, let's address that point. Well, you let me finish, you're going to cut me off? It's like dealing with a dumb child.